Would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you?
I'm Avalon.
Hello and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. Cast. I am Spencer Cartier.
And I am Daisy Duke University. Go Blue Devils.
And this right here is Frank. He just got done his basketball game. As you can see, he got the big W. But you guys are probably asking, who is this stranger? Who is this stranger at the Croak and Crow podcast? Messing up the feng shui. Well,
Okay.
This is Avalon. She is my sister, your cousin. Try to figure that lineage out.
We have talked about her quite a few times.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you?
I'm Avalon. Like you just said, I am his sister and her cousin. Yeah. I'm just here for a good time, you know?
And why are you here? Because I don't think you're usually in this state.
I'm not. I go to college in this state.
She's not really used to the whole podcasting thing, but she's gonna get into it. But I'll let you know what she's here for. She goes to college in Florida, Flagler University in St. Augustine.
College, not university.
It's not Flagler University?
No, we're just a college.
Interesting.
Don't say just.
But
as
I told you guys in yesterday's podcast, it is somebody's birthday week. Week.
Ooh.
And so, seeing how we're not podcasting on Saturday, we are celebrating today with all you fine people.
Do we clap here?
You can clap if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a cake. It says "Happy Birthday, Daisy," because that's your name for
Are
the
you
day.
gonna put it on the cake?
Nah.
Put it on the cake.
It's not even showed up. Is it clean?
Yeah, we have a electric candle. We're just gonna put that right there.
Put it in the middle of the words.
Should we sing?
Should I turn out the lights?
No, wait, we can't sing. We'll get demonetized. Happy birthday to you.
Is happy birthday like able to be demonetized? Because it's like so public.
There's a whole story with it. I'm going to tell you the story because I think we actually talked about it on an earlier podcast. For a long time, Happy Birthday was owned by a company and nobody could use it. That's why in shows and in restaurants, they'd always sing things like happy birthday from all of us to you. And they never use the actual happy birthday. But I think
it's one of those
check
like
me if I'm
time,
wrong.
the amount of time that passed.
Yeah. And then after that, they were like, we're no longer monetizing it.
Well, because that would be absurd. It's happy birthday.
For a long time, it was.
Gender reveal.
It's mixed.
Gender reveal party.
Thank you.
That looks yummy. Guess who bought that cake?
Is it gluten free?
This girl.
The two people across from the table are gluten free, so I'm
Yeah,
assuming the
Celiac,
cake is.
it's not just a fad.
That seems
It is an actual disease.
That seems-
just to throw that out there.
That seems pretty accusatory to people who do it for.
Well, it is because they can kind of have gluten and I can't. So
The Happy Mixer gluten-free
When
bakery.
someone has
multiple locations.
when someone has cancer and then their friends cut their hair off, are you like, well, you can have hair, but
anyone
What
who's
if they're-
going gluten free, not for celiac disease, is not doing it in support of celiacs.
Let's
it might be solidarity.
let's change a little bit. I'll have a spoon. Thank you.
To all
You're
you
gonna regret inviting me on the podcast.
To all you gluten-freers by choice, I commend you. Keep on staying gluten-free and don't listen to her. You don't
Just
need
to mix it up, I don't commend you.
Okay.
No,
I'm sure you guys.
I'm vegetarian.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
No, you can say anything. It's fine.
You're vegetarian. Are you allergic to animals and shellfish? So do you want to attack her for that as well?
Oh no, I see.
She does vegetarian by choice.
Well, I'm talking about like normal meat. You can't. Can you be allergic to normal meat?
Why not?
Is it a disease?
Why not?
Because it's not the same. Like, you know, lactose intolerant people just don't care. Every lactose intolerant person I've known will still have dairy. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I think there should be more celiac awareness. I think that's where I'm coming from, but.
Well, you're not doing it well if you're attacking all your compadres.
No, because this is the problem. The gluten-free people who aren't celiacs mess it up for the celiacs.
Why is that?
Because if you go to a restaurant and you eat off a gluten-free menu, there's cross-contamination, which a celiac can't have, but a gluten-free person can. So then restaurants don't see a problem because they're like, oh, well, people are using our gluten-free menu.
It's like ADD people taking advantage of Adderall.
Yeah.
Non-ADD people
Yeah.
taking advantage of Adderall. And it's like, some people really need it and aren't just looking for a quick buzz.
Exactly. You know those gluten-free people looking for a quick buzz.
quick gluten-free buzz. So today's podcast, obviously we want a topic, even though we're having a little bit of a party, as you can see. Cue the lights, disco.
Boot, doot, 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 doot.
But the topic today is going to be basketball. The producers in my ear, they're telling me basketball. I'm asking why. I said, why is it basketball? Where's the spirituality in that? But I'm told by my peers that there is some spirituality in basketball.
Also, shout out the reason we never explained the shirt.
Right.
The reason, you might have referenced it. Flagler College, my school. We won our game today, the semifinals. We're going to the Peach Belt Conference on Sunday. The Lord's Day.
March Madness, right? Well, I'm Daisy Duke University, so we're pretty good at basketball. We're pretty good at basketball, and so I will say why we're talking about basketball on our Godcast. A name Avalon gave me.
I actually really like that.
Yeah.
The God. I'm sure it's taken, but...
Do you know who invented basketball?
An Irishman.
I meant, did you know his name?
Scottish man.
I don't know. Is he? He's American, I think.
Irish American.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Nesmith.
Oh.
I thought it was made by the Irish.
James Nesmith. So everybody knows that he invented it, and but a lot of people don't know that it really was a game invented to for current Christians and to recruit new Christians.
Oh, a little YMCA moment.
Very good. It's an absolute YMCA moment. He did it for the YMCA. The YMCA.
Is that
YMCA. Do you know, Spencer, what the YMCA stands for?
Young Men's Athletics Club. Young Men Community
Christian.
Oh, really?
Christian Association.
Yeah.
Christian Association. Young Men Christian Association.
So back to me. And that was based on something called muscular Christianity.
That's something I want to be part of.
That sounds like something I do.
I know. I was thinking that.
I'm always about muscular Christianity.
When I was reading about muscular Christianity, I was like, oh, Spencer was born.
I'm always preaching.
A couple hundred years.
I'm preaching. Go to the gym and praise God.
There was after I remember.
Really?
Yes, I remember. YMCA, YWCA, and now they're all together. But on the basis of this muscular Christianity, so he was in Massachusetts, and he invented this game for the rowdy ruffian students that he had, and so also he made the first original 13 rules of basketball because he wanted it to be a gentleman's game, a game of respect, a game of Christian character.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and then also they used it in evangelism because they would take mission trips, and that's how basketball, which is extremely popular in China, got to China. And it was Spencer and I talk on this podcast about doing things that aren't hitting you over the head with the Bible, but then people say, that's fun. Who are you? And then it's like, oh, they're Christians. So there you go.
I didn't know any of that. It's quite interesting. I think on Google, if I'm not wrong, they did a little, you know how they have the different, it was like the anniversary or something. Oh, because I remember seeing and I clicked on it and it was saying like the guy who created basketball. I could be completely wrong,
no, you're
but
not. I mean, they have records of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Where did you hand me these rules for any particular reason? Like I was looking, is there any Christian rules?
Well, I just handed it to you because a few times on the podcast, we could even be together. Like, let's sing together. Do up. No, we should have been singing, they're playing basketball. You know that song?
No.
They're playing basketball.
They're playing basketball. Get your head in the game.
Oh, yeah. Which is from
High School Musical. For those who don't know.
Basketball show.
Ow.
Okay, sorry. Listen.
Let's get back to
we're having such birthday fun.
Yeah.
Such fun.
Frank fun.
It's
I'm sorry.
Lily's birthday over here, so we're going to let them.
I'm Daisy.
Lily, Daisy, Rose. It's all the same.
We did something before where we took a concept that wasn't
spiritual.
Traditionally spiritual, and we were like, how would this, I forget what it was, and we were like, how would this translate into being like Christian rules, or like in to tell a parable or whatever, you know what I mean? Do you remember that?
Vaguely. So you're saying, how can we use basketball as a metaphor for Christian life?
Right.
Well, aren't you saying the rules he created at first were supposed to be?
Well,
okay, well let's go through the rules, and then maybe we can find a little bit of a Christian.
Let's find out.
Rule number uno.
Together right now, live.
Rule number uno. When do you go back to Florida?
A couple days.
Just checking.
Tomorrow.
The ball may be thrown in any direction with one or both hands. So spirituality in that.
I think.
Well, what is the ball? Let's start there.
What are the hands?
Well, let me just interject. Oops. I touched that part. This is our first guest, and sure, there's going to be some little problems, but
yeah, we needed a third mic. This was a sudden.
It's on
surprise.
our Amazon wish list. No, I'm just kidding.
It's on our registry, so if anyone is looking. No,
what I was going to say was, they said even in the order that he made the rules, because he just made it up on the spot with these kids in the gym. It shows that things were happening that he was like, okay, now we need to make that rule, because they were a lot of fist fights, a lot of like literally throwing each other to the ground.
A little Danny Zuko moment. If we don't know, Greece, when he goes to all the different sports and literally just gets in fights. He gets in a fight on the basketball court.
There we are. Go. Get up. Here. That's it. Oh! What did I do?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So the second rule, it's funny because in parentheses, the thing that goes to what you said, the ball may be batted in any direction with one or both hands, and then in parentheses, never with the fist.
Right.
Let's just make that clear. So wait, are we?
Well, spirituality.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit. I don't know.
I think I know where you're going.
I don't know if you're stressing me out, but I think you know where I'm going. Okay. In a.
How do you say?
She's
been speaking Floridian for so long.
I haven't spoken Pennsylvanian in a while. Like, wow, I lost all my words. It said you can hit it with your hands, but not a fist. Yeah. And it's like, if you're having a disagreement with somebody, you like with your words,
hit them with your hands, not your
fist. not to hit them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you never need to use aggression in your words, not in your actions. Okay. Obviously, you shouldn't use aggression.
I'm liking it, and it's something that's coming. I'm being filled with the Holy Spirit. Okay. I just think the ball is spirituality. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. Follow me on this.
Don't hit spirituality.
Spirituality, faith, religion, if you will. That is the ball. The ball may be thrown in any direction. So you don't pass to like, people who you're playing against, the devil. Oh. But my Christian sister, I got the ball. Take it. And now
what if I did this? I would be throwing away my spirituality.
No, that's the second rule.
Okay.
So I'm passing to you because we're all in this together.
Jump
it's
ahead.
Like what does Jesus say about two or more gathered?
In his name, he's there.
Two or more gathered in his name, he's there. And so you got your team with you, got your
boys.
At
more.
You got your starting lineup, and you're passing the ball, their spiritual ball to each other. Second one, the ball may be
spiritual balls.
Go ahead. I think it cut out. The second one, the ball may be batted in any direction with one or both hands, never with a fist. Now we're talking about the opponent gets involved, because when you're batting, it's a fight for it. And so when you're having a spiritual disagreement or something, you want to be strong and you want to fight for that spirituality, but never with the fist, because that's fighting fire with fire is not going to get you anywhere. So don't fight with the fist. You can have arguments. You can try to get that ball, spiritual ball, never with the fist. Yeah. Am I onto something?
I think so.
3, a player cannot run with the ball.
Well,
No, I think it means
With the player must throw it from the spot in which he catches it. Allowance to be made. Oh wait, what is there saying? There's no dribbling in the beginning?
Oh, like it's just
in
passing?
the original rules, because the player must throw it from the spot on which he catches it. Allowance to be made for a man who catches the ball when running at a good speed if he tries to stop. So it's kind of ultimate frisbee rules, where you have to stop.
I don't think the average person knows ultimate frisbee rules.
Our fans are they all play ultimate.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
It's not true, but do you think that might mean like sharing?
How about sharing?
No, yeah. Well, I actually like that, because what did I say earlier about the passing? Do you remember? Like passing the spiritual ball?
Yeah.
And what was I saying about it? I'm just trying to see if you're listening.
I really don't want to be quizzed on air.
When she kicked it.
I was saying that we're sharing the spirituality, and you know, if I know something, I just pass it to you. Hey,
Yeah.
we're bouncing knowledge off each other. So what would happen if you just held on to that ball? If
You're hogging the spirituality.
I think that sometimes you see it where in these churches where they ask for a lot of money, and it's like, I have the knowledge and you're down there. It's saying you can't go anywhere by yourself. Once again, 2 or more gathered, He's there. And so
You're just there to finish sentences.
It's in it. It's like, hey, we are a team. We're not by ourselves. You get the ball.
Definitely.
This wasn't the era.
Teamwork, definitely.
This wasn't the era
Makes
of
the
the
dream
ball
work.
hog, the spiritual ball hog. You're sharing. 4, the ball must be held in or between the hands. The arms or body must not be used for holding it. Spirituality? It's getting harder.
Well, like instead of thinking like, oh, what exactly is this? Like, I'm wondering if we should be thinking what motivated him to say that, because what were they doing that he had to tell them? Whenever you ever see these things and it'll be like, no matter what, please don't put Legos in the fountain, and there's like, what did someone do? Because they always make rules once they found out someone did something. So what is the rule?
So the ball, you have to hold the ball. You can't hold the ball.
Still sounds like sharing.
But also, you can imagine, because that happens nowadays, like where the one person ends up like that and then everyone's grabbing for it.
Yeah.
So in a situation where if they all were fighting all the time, I would assume that would just lead to a fight if one guy's like this and they're all trying to get the ball.
It reminds me of a little bit of a story, huh?
Huh?
A
little bit of a story, huh?
You know what story that is?
Troy and Gabriella.
I'm talking about a Bible story.
Okay.
When the guy gave all of his servants a coin, and they went and multiplied it, and then there was the one who buried it, and this, the other team, I'm sure, isn't going to get the ball when you're doing this.
No one.
But you're also
No one can play.
But you're also not going to score.
Spoiling the game.
It's like, oh, I gave you the ball so you can try to score, not so you can just make sure that you don't lose the ball. I'd rather you try and lose it than not try at all.
Right.
Aw.
Go Spencer. I messed up his feet and he can't stand. Can someone?
Avalon, this is the crow, and he lost his eye.
I was going to say.
It's not, I shouldn't say he lost it, because it's in there.
The light is inside of him. It looks like a little light bulb.
It is a light bulb. She fits in here.
Okay, now this one is rule number 5. I can imagine at this point, old Dr. James and his boys were playing, and this was a major rule because the things weren't going so well. No shouldering, holding, pushing, tripping, or striking in any way the person of an opponent shall be allowed. The first infringement of this rule by any player shall count as a foul. The second shall disqualify him until the next goal is made. Or if there's evident intent to injure the person for the whole game, no substitute is allowed.
Evident intent. Someone just walks up and socks somebody.
I can see that was the rule that might have had to have been made, but I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. 6 sort of follows the same thing. A foul is striking at the ball with the fist. Violations of rule 3 and 4.
Who is punching the ball?
It seems maybe that human nature is to be aggressive, to be warring. I do believe we said in an earlier podcast how when we lost war and we lost what tribes we were on, we now use it as teams.
Yeah.
And like the Eagles will beat up fans of another team. And we were saying like, please don't do that because the players don't want you to do that. But is it just showing you, unfortunately, the human nature that always needs to be controlled?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see, with sports and stuff, it does show like football and all that. It's like, hit him in the mouth. And so with basketball, obviously it's still a rough game, but there's a little more grace to it.
Grace.
All right.
A little more pizzazz.
7, if either side makes 3 consecutive fouls, it shall count as a goal for the opponents. Consecutive means without the opponents in the mean taken time. I can't read the rest of that.
Yeah, I mean,
we got
you can skip through them.
Yeah.
I think it's all about fair play.
Yeah, it's all about fair play. A goal shall be made when the ball is thrown or batted from the grounds into the basket and stays there, provided those defending the goal do not touch or disturb the goal. If the ball rests on the edge, the opponent moves to the basket. It shall count as a goal. So that's making a shot. That's how you make a shot. So what is the spiritual shot?
Avalon, why is it called basketball?
Because you put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, they were peach baskets and nailed to the wall. So I think that one just said it has to go in and stay in because it didn't.
It had a bottom.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Peach bottom.
Peach bottom.
I think it's a place.
Really?
So we said if the ball's spirituality, what's the basket?
Your heart?
Any ideas, guys?
Your heart. Your soul. You're letting spirituality into you.
Okay.
You have the ball, right? And you can pass it around. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Maybe I'm talking to someone. You know how, I don't know if you ever talked about it here, but I remember I have talked to you about it. I've talked to other people about it where I would never try to force spirituality or Christianity or anything on someone. But if I act like a nice person and they know that I like to go to church or I like to be Christian or whatever, then they will be like, oh, I know a nice Christian. They'll associate it well. So, the ball, right?
The ball.
So say there's someone on my team that's not spiritual. Mm-hmm. I pass them the ball. It's a friendly pass. Like we said, I'm not punching the ball at them or anything.
Okay.
They shoot it.
Yeah.
They're letting spirituality in, in a easy way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, spirituality could be, it's the words, the prayer, or something. And then the
kindness. Like I said, I don't even think it has to be as significant as
I think the Holy
prayer.
Spirit's in you too. Holy Spirit's in you too. All right. Let's make some goals out here. When the ball goes out of bounds, it shall be thrown into the field of play by the person first touching it.
God throws it back at you. You throw it out. He's like, don't worry. I'm always there for you.
I don't hate it. I don't hate the analogy because you can't get rid of the ball. Even
get rid of it.
I mean, we haven't really got to what the opponents are, but I imagine that the opponents are bad things.
Yes, things were just fine. Things we're still dealing with.
Anything
that takes you away,
or earthly problems.
Anything that stops the timer of the game.
Yeah, no, I'm saying who your opponents are. The people you're playing against. I'm thinking it's things you deal with earthly, because what's the opposite of spirituality? Right. Is earthly things like mental health issues or the devil. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Spencer, is that your name? Interesting because we do something called Walk Through Thursday, and we did that yesterday, and it's at this point we're doing the 23rd Psalm, and there's a part in the 23rd Psalm, and it says, "You have prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies," and it's something we'll talk about it on Thursdays, but we'd love to be on that. I know, and
let's Zoom call you in.
What I'm saying is when I think of it, it's like my enemies, but I always think of it like what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Your enemies could be
when you say my demons, mm-hmm. So no, what I was getting at is because someone said the ball gets thrown back in, God's throwing it back, it stays in bounds, and so think of it as the other way. Even when the opponent score a basket, what happens? It's not make it take it out here. We're not on the streets. We're not playing make it take it. You get the ball right back, and then you have an opportunity once again to go down that court and score a spiritual basket. So good on you. Whoever said out of bounds was that.
I actually said it. And I would like it to be acknowledged that I'm doing great.
You are.
Okay. The umpire is what was called, now it's a referee, shall be the judge of the men and shall note the fouls and notify the referee when 3 consecutive fouls have been made. He shall have power to disqualify men according to Rule 5. It's Santa Claus. He has the list and he checks it twice. He's going to find out
who made a foul once or twice.
Who's naughty or nice.
What do you think?
God.
I don't know if it's God because he said he's going to tell God, right? I didn't know if it was just respecting authority, because like this man was trying to teach these people to not be an unruly bunch. You know how sometimes people have a aversion to being told. Not that I'm talking to you.
I have no aversion.
Being told you did something wrong.
Yeah, I'm always open to constructive criticism, except for this podcast. If there's any mean comments, I'll be very upset.
No, it was just an idea. That's all I had.
Oh,
no, I think it would be God. You know, like, because it's who set the rules and it's to make sure. And it's also...
And who brings the basket, at least nowadays, out of bounds? Who, like, you know what I mean? Gives it to the player. Throw it back in.
The referee. Yeah, but also, you know...
That was the reference to what I had just said.
We're not playing prison ball, right? Like, the referee is there to stop things from escalating, to keep the game fair. And it goes with that idea, if you're saying that the other team is your demons or whatever, that the referee, and it's like, okay, with the shepherd, walk through Thursday, and it's like, you know that you're being taken care of. You know that if there's a cheap shot, you have fair play. You're not going to get stabbed by the demons, and you'll have a chance to win the game because the referee is there and make sure you guys have a good game of life. All right, kind of. That kind of get the point across.
Totes.
All right. Same
I really
thing.
want a piece of cake.
Have a piece.
Okay. I didn't know if now was the time.
Yeah.
The referee shall be the judge of the ball. Same thing. Decides when it's in play, out of bounds, to which side it belongs. Shall keep time. Father time.
And it's just interesting because he has sometimes a much better view than you do as a player.
Yeah.
You can see the whole thing. Okay. So
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
And people get mad at the ref because they're like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
And you just have to be like,
Yeah.
"That's the call made."
Why? Yeah. You know, the age-old question about God is, why does he let bad things happen? And we say freedom of choice.
Why does the ref get call a foul?
Why is the ref? It's because usually you're upset that it's against your own team, right?
right.
That was a big piece.
It's too late.
So the time shall be 2 15-minute halves with 5 minutes rest in between. Check out our rest podcast, one of the early ones.
Yeah.
How important is rest?
It's so important.
You can play the spiritual game of basketball, and you can be shooting baskets, but if you don't rest, then you're not going to be able to be shooting those spiritual shots, those spiritual 3-pointers. Rest is equally as important as action.
Right. And it would probably be good to rest the physical body that was working so hard playing, but it would also be good to rest the emotions. If this man was realizing that these people were getting very aggressive and fighting and everything like that, this little cool off period, like, okay, and we're going to start again,
Yeah. And finally, the side making the most goals in that time shall be declared winner. In the case of a draw, the game may, by agreement of the captains, be continued until another goal is made.
Overtime.
And that's life. Who's going to win, you or your enemies? I say you.
But that's old school basketball. Do you have any thoughts of? Is it the same as now?
All right, listen, kid. We do a 30-minute podcast.
Oh, you do?
somewhere.
I thought you did it.
No, it's fine.
Since when? You guys have like a long podcast.
Listen, newbie. It's Friday night, and you.
Yeah, your feet on the keyboard.
That was a close one. I accidentally hit the keyboard, and I thought I deleted the whole video, but the Lord was on my side this time. But what were we saying?
Modern.
That I think basketball is a really fun sport.
Shout out all the basketball players.
No, I would never say that. That would take me away from my spirituality.
Yeah, no, it's great. And since that started at that time, very unfairly, Black Americans, or it was only in America, couldn't play. As a matter of fact, the man who invented basketball, there's a famous Coach McClendon. There was a really great player, and he wasn't allowed to play, but this inventor mentored him. He became a great coach.
Oh.
And he is in the Basketball Hall of Fame for being a coach, because we're talking the 1930s.
Now, isn't that crazy how, ignorance back in the day was that the person who literally invented basketball was obviously willing for African Americans to play, and yet they still weren't, and so he had to mentor him privately. It's like one thing when you have ignorant people saying don't play our sports, but it's like literally this guy, Christian guy, probably, I mean, he sounds inclusive, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but then other people to say thanks for the sport you gave us, Christian man. Now we're going to tell everyone else who can play and who can't play.
Shall I say we're all in this together?
We're all in this together.
You have to put this in. You can't cut it out. It has nothing to do with basketball, except for the fact that it's in High School Musical. Okay. Sharpay is the true hero. You could do a whole podcast on this if you want. She is like the main character. She gets bullied the whole time, and Gabriella is actually the villain. I do feel like that's needed to be said somewhere.
And also, before we go, just she is a theater major, and she does have a little theory about basketball being
theater, a performance. I feel like there's such a separation between athletics, all athletics really, but basketball specifically, just because I am more focused. Yeah, I pay attention to it more, but. Literally, when you see the warm-ups, that's choreographed. Mm-hmm. That's like, it's a dance number. You have to walk here and there. She even said, she was like, if they didn't do it, they would run into each other. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, obviously it's improv, but it is a full performance. There's costumes, there's lights, there's an audience, there's acting. Everyone knows that players act when they get hit. They throw, it's true. They fall on the ground. They act dramatic. You know what I mean? And it's literally, there's the main characters, the starting players. And it's just so funny to me because, especially since the arts, are always hated on. But, that we look at athletics as like, well, I want to go to a sports game, not a theater performance. And it's like, you're kind of going to a performance. Just.
That's called a podcast hijacking.
And you can find me on my podcast that will start in 2022.
Yeah, if you had one thing, I need to tell this one thing.
I didn't even know you were going to bring that up.
If you had 15 minutes to get the most important thing off your chest.
Well, I do think that's interesting, and if anyone wants to comment on it, I would be appreciative.
But that is our show. If you have made it this far, thank you for coming. Say hello to Avalon.
Give us some more views, because I will pretend it's my doing.
Is going back to Florida soon. She's graduating in spring. Yay. Hip hooray.
4 years.
And then we have Tulip over here, whose birthday is on Saturday. But we're celebrating today. So if you watched this far, comment down below and say, happy birthday, Veritusa, or Verona, or Lillian. I don't know. And this is Frank. He's always a champ.
Follow me on Instagram, Avalon18. Shameless plug, always.
We'll see you on Sunday for a Christian meme review. And then back to the normal style podcast starting next week.
There's
Peace.
a sad sort of clanging from the clock.
Do you want to hit
the hall?
Do you want to send us out?